Good
And
morning, Peg.
Thank you for your quick response to the invitation yesterday. I kind of wanted to grab you while you were up here from your residence in Florida. So as we say, we just have a little bit of time to tell a lot of information. So you're going to let us know what you feel you want people to know more about you. We know a little bit about you. So perhaps we can start with your beginnings and spend some time with your family, your upbringing, your siblings, and schooling.
I was born and raised in Toledo, Ohio, in a very Catholic religious family. My mom and dad were very devoted to activities in the church. My dad was a Holy Name member. He was a Knight of Columbus. My mother did church work, altar linens, that kind of thing. They were married in 1933. My mom's mother came from Germany. I'm German, Irish, and French. My mother's mother came from Germany. They both did, my dad's mother and my mom's mom. My mom's mom came when she was 9 months old, and my dad's mom came when she was 9 years old. And my dad's mom lived with the Ursuline Sisters. They raised her until she was 18. My mother's mother was in Perrysburg, and then she married Frank, her husband. He was Irish, and he was born in Oak Harbor, Ohio. My dad's mom married Frank, and he was born in Toledo. But my grandmother came from Germany, but she was also near Alsace-Lorraine. That's where the French comes in. I went to Blessed Sacrament School for grade school and had our sisters there. There were 13 Adrian Dominicans. I know all of them by name, but I won't take time to name them all.
Thank you.
In high school, I went to Notre Dame Academy in Toledo, the Notre Dame Sisters. And I have a sister, Judy, and she's a year younger, 14 months younger than I am. She also entered the Sylvania Franciscans, but didn't stay, only 2 weeks. And she married, and she had 3 children. One survived, so he's 44. During high school time, in second grade, I wanted to be a sister from second grade on. And my mind really never changed. But when I got into high school, sophomore year, one of the teachers there interviewed me and talked to me, wanted me to be a Notre Dame sister, and she took me through the whole place and all that. Well, almost wanted me to sign the papers. Well, I wasn't going to be a Notre Dame sister. I was going to be Adrian Dominican. So nothing happened until junior year, and then that teacher also talked to me about being a sister. And I told her that I was going to be an Adrian Dominican. The principal was not happy, but
This was high school.
High school. And 7 of us from my class entered Notre Dame's. I was the only one that entered Adrian, but we had 8 locations, yeah.
Wow.
So after high school, I had 2 weeks vacation. Dad never took a vacation, and so we went to Milwaukee. And after 2 weeks, I entered June 25, 1955. My first mission.
How was that for your sister?
That was fine. I don't know how to explain it. I always wanted to be a sister and pray. I didn't know I was going to be teaching. But anyway, that was fine. But we never discussed. In those days, we never discussed what we wanted to be in our dreams. But, so it was either married, you became a sister, or you stayed single, whatever. So my first mission, I entered then. I loved it. And when they came to visit in September, my sister said, "Are you happy here?" And I said, "Yes, I loved it." My mother really didn't want me to do that. She wanted me a Notre Dame sister, or not at all. My dad was thrilled. He had that prayer, that poem, the Daddy of the Nun. And I was close to my dad. I think a lot of times fathers are close to their daughters. But anyway, I loved both my parents. I just have to say some of my background, besides being totally Catholic, we did the block rosary every week, every Tuesday night. Dad started that on our knees. I mean, here we were teenagers going up and down the street. We only had 5 blocks on our street. And we went to devotion, confession every Saturday for 2 weeks.
So you grew up in a home that was
yes,
various.
Yes, and I loved the nuns. I mean, I loved all my nuns, all the teachers. I loved everyone. So Vero Beach was my first mission.
Were you surprised to be missioned to
yes,
Florida?
I was. Like I told you, I went down on the train with Mother Gerald and Sister Bridgetta on New Year's Day. So, and of course I walked down with the principal to the school. Sister Inez was the principal.
Sister who?
Inez
Okay,
Pinger.
Pinger.
And she asked me as we're walking down the street to the school, it's a block away, she said, have you ever taught before? And I said, no. I thought she'd fall right down on the sidewalk. Here I am agreeing.
They knew that the young nuns
Yeah.
hadn't been,
No,
yeah.
they're handpicked, really.
Everyone has to start.
And then from Vero Beach, I went to Chicago for 13 years. That area, Chicago, I was 3-4 places in Chicago. I love teaching. I never thought I could be a teacher, but I was called to be a sister, and that was just part of my ministry. My whole life was teaching, and mostly first and second grade.
Is there one or two places that you were at that were transformative, a life experience, just
Yes.
very special?
In Rockford, Illinois, with Sister Connie Kelly, I taught first and second grade combination. I love that idea, but she had me teaching everything except third and sixth. So I got a whole good experience on all those levels. I was there 4 years, I believe. So that, I really liked that. I mean, she was a very good superior. She was a very good principal. She taught herself. You know, she taught 7th and 8th grade math and religion. We had one lay teacher. It was the first time I was ever in a school with a lay teacher. And then from Rockford, Illinois, I went to Maywood. I was there 4 years with Liz Lynch. And then from there, I went to Harvey, Illinois. And that was a good experience too. I mean, I had a lot of things to do there. We taught religion every other Saturday. I taught first grade there. I was there 6 or 7 years. I went to DePaul twice a week, drove downtown. I was the bursar. I had Big Obedience's kitchen, and there were 9 of us there, 13 of us there. 13 in that place. It was a big place.
So then you went back to Florida.
At that time in Harvey, Illinois, our cook was Mrs. Christadell, Sister Andrew Irene's mother. And Sister Andrew Irene taught at West Palm, principal at West Palm Beach. She needed a first grade teacher. And so for 2 years, the mother kept hounding me and hounding me. She wanted me to go down there. And of course, Andrew Irene did too. And so
that wasn't an option.
That was before open placement. So when open placement came in, we had the choice of staying where we were, or we could, opt to go somewhere else. Well, I stayed there for another couple of years. So finally, I went down there. I said I would go. So Mother and I, my mom, and the two of us drove down there one summer, I guess, to look the place over and everything. And so I was there for 17 years. I went down at 73.
Okay. Now I see the finance office.
I was in Vero Beach for 17 years, and it was kind of time. I was feeling that, I need to find someplace, and I never wrote a resume. I never applied for a job anyplace, but I was asked, every place I went, I was asked to go there. So I was asked to go to St. Rose of Lima. My crowd was there, and they needed a first grade teacher. She taught first grade, and they needed a first grade teacher. So I went there. It was so much like St. Anne's. I didn't. Memorial Day weekend, and Fallon called me and wanted me to come to the finance office. That's how I got to the finance office.
Had you volunteered during the summers like you do now? But that's where you were.
That's where I started. I was there for 2 years, and I thought I'd be there 3 or 5. So I was so happy. I got a Hertz Penske truck, rented the truck. I took a bedroom outfit. I took a recliner chair, sewing machine, and I drove myself with a big teddy bear with a hat on. Drove all the way up there on a Saturday in the rain.
So that was your companion?
That was my companion. And I got here, and I didn't know. I said, Aunt Fallon, I've never done anything like that. She said, well, I think you'd be good at it. You know the alphabet, don't you?
And you know your numbers.
Yeah,
so what was your position in the finance
So I
office?
was the receptionist and learning.
Who has that position now?
Debbie.
Debbie Bloom, okay.
So, but I was by the door there, right there
Yeah.
by the door, because it was a whole different setup
Yeah.
then. I was not there the way it's set up now.
No.
So it was renovated after I left. But I thought, and Shirley Tilk was training me to do house accounts, computer stuff. So I don't think I did too well, but anyway. I was called out of there during that chapter of 92. Sister Jean Rosari was a delegate. She was up here. Mary Therese Napolitan was going down to St. Gregory's as principal. I lived with her at West Palm Beach, and the two of them all during that
Chapter?
were after me. And so I said, well, I don't know. But then I found out after being on retreat that it might be a good thing. So I said I'd go, but then the pastor wanted me to come down and see it. So he flew me down, and I went down for about a week, I guess, and came back. That was in February. And then Sister Mary Therese kept telling me, we have to sign the contract. I have to sign the contract. I thought, you don't sign contracts till August. So I had a conference call with them. Connie Kelly kept saying, you're not going back. Are you not going back? Well, I did. So I went back 26 years. I've been there.
Not in
At St. Gregory.
Oh, at St. Gregory.
That's when I went to St. Gregory. Mary
Oh,
Therese is the
see.
principal, yeah.
I didn't realize
And Jean
that.
Rosaria did ministries.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 2 sisters in the place.
It's a gigantic parish from what
We
I
have
just
about
heard.
900 students
Yes.
from 2 years old to 8th grade. And I've been there 26 years. I taught 1st grade for several. I'm out of the classroom now. I wanted to be out of the classroom. I was getting beyond I wasn't creative anymore. And I needed something more life-giving, a change. And so I asked the principal, and she said, let me talk to the pastor. So
That's wonderful. You know, I think that's a special grace that you know when to step out and to step aside because you don't feel effective within, so you wonder what's
well,
happening.
I just felt that I didn't have the spark I had before when I was beginning. And then up until then, I mean, I taught a long time in the 1st grade. So a month later, she had talked to Monsignor. A month later, he created this position, which was to be assistant to the pull-out program. The teacher actually took remediation, kids for remediation, and I helped her. I was her assistant for 1 year. My Jubilee year is 2005. And what happened was Monsignor wanted me to be the DRE. So there.
The pull-out program, explain
It was
that.
like a reading and math remediation for
So-
students who needed help.
Would be pulled out of the classroom.
Pulled out of the
and-
classroom.
Clever idea.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
I'm still using those teaching skills.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. You know, small groups, I loved it. I worked well with her. She was excellent. I learned a lot from that teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monsignor's DRE resigned, and the principal had to take care of her parents. So we got a new principal and a new DRE, and I was the new one. And he said, for 1 year. Well, I felt like Annunciation. I still go back to that. You know, I've been called to that too. So he said for 1 year, and I was glad it was 1 year.
So what have you learned about yourself, and you bring your spirituality, of course, with those various
I
experiences?
just feel that everything I've had, it was called from God. I didn't have to think it up. I didn't have to go looking. That's the thing that blew my mind.
But you never taught before, you never did financial things, you never did DRE, and so you know it's not just
Never.
yourself that's getting you through.
No, I just felt called by God. I mean, that was a call. So I just tied it with Annunciation. I was on cloud 9 when he asked me to do that. I mean, and so then I went back to that. After the year, I went back to doing that, a pull-out program. And then a DRE, I don't know how it was, 2 people took my place for DRE. Well, one dropped out. So Monsignor asked if I would be the DRE's assistant. So that was the title. So I did that for a couple of years. And then she retired. And the new pastor wanted me to take over. And I said, no, I'm not going to be a DRE. You need to get an experienced DRE who has some experience doing that. So the one that I was in contact with my 1 year was Lorraine. And so Lorraine was let go by her pastor. She came to our place. Father hired her right away. 40 years being a DRE. So I was her assistant.
It's Lorraine, Sister Lorraine Sin?
No, it was not a nun.
Oh.
No, Lorraine Salvatore.
Oh.
2 years she was our DRE with me, the 2 of us together, and then she died. She had cancer. So that left me again. And I told her, no, I said, I'm going to Adrian, like I always do for the summers. Ever since I was in finance, I came
Yeah,
here.
explain that. We could just stop that little ministry one
Okay.
there. But you have come to Adrian every summer and give your service to the finance
Every
office.
summer for 26 years, I come up here to get the accounts payable fiscal year in order so that they can begin filing those vouchers.
Uh-huh.
And then I have to destroy 7 years earlier. We always have to do that. So we keep 7 years, so I have to destroy, so shred, get rid of and then bring down the files from upstairs and keep 2 years' files up there. And so I did that already this summer. That's finished for next year. The shredding is already marked, 2019.
And then you take time to do your retreat and probably visit your family.
My sister. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's all I have left is my sister. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, with Lorraine, so when she died, the Father wanted me, and I said, I'm going to Adrian, like I do every summer, and I said, I will come back when you have the DRE. So Sunday before I came back, I got the phone call, we have the DRE, and I said, Sister Jean, Rosaria called me. I said, well, who is it? She didn't know. I said, well, where's she coming from? St. Bernard's. I said, that's the one I worked with, Lorraine, that I worked with when I was DRE. So that was great. And then this time, when the DRE died, I was called from luncheon. It was the work days of school. And Father wanted me to come over and meet this gentleman. He was in the seminary 4 years. Mm-hmm. And so he is the DRE now. Antonio, he's been DRE with me now for 5 years. So I'm his co-director. That's how I got that. Mm-hmm. So for 5 years with him, he's very good. We have about 400 students in the
DRE.
Religious Ed. Mm-hmm. And I do sacraments there. I teach a class of sacraments twice a week. Children in the school haven't had sacraments. I do the practices for confirmation and communion and do everything else that an assistant does. In the
What do you do for fun?
Oh, for fun. Oh, well.
Besides working in Adrian's finance office for the summer.
On the side, I have always, for years, over 30 years, crocheted and knitted for the Christ Child Society in Chicago. Baby blankets and scarves and anything like that. And then
that sounds like work to
me. For
me.
Janet Cox, I helped her on some of her projects. No, it's a great outlet. For me this morning, I did a whole hour's worth of just meditating and
with your
and knitting. Yeah, mm-hmm. And I read a lot.
What book are you reading right now?
Well, I just finished Jesus, the Pilgrimage. Jesus, a Pilgrimage.
James Martin.
By James Martin. I love that book. Wonderful. I just finished.
Have you ever been to the Holy Land?
No, but that's a good way to go.
It is. It is. That book is.
He explained. It's like you're right there.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved it. So I have already got a couple other people getting the book to read it too, because I just thought it was so good.
Do you read novels?
I do. I read Mary Higgins Clark, and I read
Murder Mysteries.
Sparks, and I read lots of novels. Yes. I just started Joyce Rupp's Compassion. That's very good.
Is that her new book?
Her latest book, yes. Right. Another one's coming out in October. I have all of hers. Mm-hmm. But that's what I do to relax or to...
That's nice. What gives you energy and passion right now? I don't see retirement in your future.
No, I just love teaching. I still teach. Mm-hmm. I teach religion class every Fridays, and like I told you, it's sacraments. I love teaching. Like knitting, books. I like to cook. I love the mission group. Love coming to Adrian. I don't know.
Did you ever think of moving up here?
No. Everyone's asked me that. I'm not ready.
That's fine.
I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah.
I feel fine. I'm healthy, and I feel that just keep doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But I am thinking about trying to downsize and cut down and live on a little.
I just listened to something this morning when I was exercising about decluttering, and for every one thing you bring into the house, you get rid of two.
I've been doing that. In fact, I took 2 big bags this summer, which is Goodwill.
Is there something about you or something that you haven't shared with too many people that would surprise us to know about you?
I don't know about that, but I know that in the novitiate, the one thing that stuck with me is you can do all things that strengthens you because of the power of God, and I've carried that it just has stuck with me. I like to do things that I've never done before, and I used to travel with some of the secretaries during days off from school, even if it was overnight. I'm like not a daring person, but I like to explore, see what's going on, and I like to know things. Something that I don't know what it would be. A lot of people don't.
So you're an open book. You've shared.
Yeah, I mean.
That's good.
I
That's
was
good.
always a very
Yeah.
shy person. When I was at home, living at home, before I entered,
I don't
school
remember
kid.
you like that when I was in
am, and
Florida.
no one says, I said that to Liz Linchester, and she says, you are not. Well, if I know people.
Yeah.
And I think I came out of that shell just by entering and being with people. I mean, right now well, maybe they don't know that. I'm secretary to the Mission Council. And Marianne said, don't think you're going to get out of it.
Oh.
So that was something new and different. I never did that before. So I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it,
No.
I don't say that.
I think there's a lot of things our women are involved in that we never know. And this is why we think this is a good chance. How people say, I wish I had known that when she was alive. I don't think it's Mission Council Secretary, though. But
Well, just like
your generosity in the summer, coming to campus, coming to Adrian, I think is certainly preaches a lot to many of us.
See, I never think of it like that.
Yeah, 'cause it
I mean,
does-
I'd like to get back to the congregation because after all, they educated me
How would you like to be remembered?
as a primary teacher, primary educator.
That's
Because
it.
that is my thing. I mean, it really is. That gives me life. That gives me something to get up in the morning and do. I love to work with kids. That keeps you young, too.
It does. It does. That's why you look so young. So is there anything else you'd like to share with the congregation, with the associates, with the...
Well, I loved all the teachers I ever had. I loved all the missions I was ever on. And I'm just grateful for those opportunities that I had. Like I said, I never had to go look for anything. It was just like handed to me. To me, that's a blessing.
That's good. Put
And
that
I
in.
know I never took a sabbatical. They might not know that. I never took a sabbatical. When I came here for those 2 years in the finance office, I said to Connie all the time, I said, well, to me, this is my sabbatical. I'm having a great time. And she said, don't ever say that. So that's something that no one knows, That's my sabbatical. It was my sabbatical. I don't know what it would be like to go on a sabbatical and then have to try to find something. Or I don't like change too much. I'm more of a scheduled, detailed person. So maybe people don't know that either. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you. And again, you had short notice, but I said it's your life. There's nothing to practice about telling the story of your life. So
right.
Again, just know that how grateful we are for your service to the finance office. They only have the best who work in the finance office.
And that's the best
Yeah.
office on the whole campus to work in.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said.
Yeah.
The best.
Great,
I
great
just
people
love
there.
working there.
Although every department we have here
Oh,
on
I know that.
campus.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
They're wonderful. I know here when I was even in Maria, I'm recuperating twice with hip surgery.
Yeah.
Those aides and those nurses, they are so dedicated.
Yeah, we're very.
We are very, very
we are
fortunate
truly
to have
blessed.
what we have here on this campus. And when I showed the pastor a picture of the campus, the aerial view, he couldn't believe how big it was. I said, you ought to come sometime.
Good.
So, yeah.
So again, thank you, and thank you for your ministry and for your presence in preaching the gospel.
Thank you,
You
Pam.
are a true blessing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.